The next step in RF math is to understand how to apply that to converting milliwatts and decibels. Some odd number of videos back, I said milliwatts are great, but we're not really going to use them, and we're not going to use them again. You will have times and opportunities when you will need to convert. You'll need to do exactly what we're going to do in this video. And that's, you'll see a specification that says 100 milliwatts. And you think, well, I need to know that in decibels, in dBm. So remember, just a quick review. Here's the rule of tens and threes. We're going to use that. We're also going to remember that dB is relative, but any number after that gives us a starting point. There is a starting point here, and that is this. 0 dBm equals 1 milliwatt. If you've ever been in Wi-Fi before, again, you may be familiar, you may be brand new, so you will see signal levels in a negative number. It always throws new people off. How can I have a negative signal number? You're going to see why a negative number in decibels, in dBms, is actually a positive amount of signal. And you're going to be really thankful for dBm by the end of it. This right here is the basis for RF math and converting milliwatts to dBm. So you have to think, okay, if I want to convert the two, what do I do? You're going to do whatever you do to one side of this equation. You're going to use your RF math rules, your rule of tens and threes, to do whatever you need to the other side. For example, 3 dBm equals how many milliwatts? First, you have to look at what I went from 0 to 3. What on my RF math did I have to do to get from 0 to 3? That's not too bad. I had to add 3 decibels, didn't I? What does 3 decibels tell you to do to the other side of this equal sign? It says 2 times the power. What's 2 times 1? 2 milliwatts. Everything refers back to 0 dBm equals 1 milliwatt. This is the base function that you always have to remember. What about 10 dBm? Oops, I actually messed up there. 10 dBm. 10 dBm equals how many milliwatts? From 0 to 10, what did I have to do on the left side to get from 0 to 10? Well, I had to get to 10. I had to add 10 decibels to do that. Notice it said decibels, not dBm. It's a 10 decibel gain between the two because it's relative. We're relative from 0 to 10. From 0 to 10, this is a 10 decibel gain, which tells me 10 times the original power. This is my original power. I'm at 10 milliwatts. So remember I said that dBm is absolute. It is. Before, when we were looking at relative, we could see that a 3 decibel loss in a cable could equal a 50 milliwatt loss, 100 milliwatt loss, or 1,000 milliwatt loss. That's relative. This is absolute. The fact is, from here on out, 10 dBm equals 10 milliwatts. There's no changing that. That is an absolute value. What if I wanted to do, we're going to work in reverse. I have an equation that says it's 100 milliwatts. How many dBm is that? The way I look at this is, how do I get from a known number, say like 1 milliwatt, what can I do on this side to get from 1 to 100? Well, I can only times by 10. That's as big as I can go. So I'm going to say I need a 1 milliwatt times 10 on the power. All right, so that gives me to 10 milliwatts. But now I need to go all the way to 100. Hey, some simple math tells me if I times by 10 twice, that gets me to 100. What is timesing by 10 twice here? We're multiplying over here, but we're adding here. That can get confusing. How many decibels does it take to get to a 20x, to 10x 2 times? 20 dBm. a plus 10 plus 10. Look at this in reverse. From 0 to 20 is plus 10 plus 10. Plus 10 tells me 10 times the original power. My original is 1, so I have to do 1 times 10, which is 100, which equals 10. Put that back in, which equals 100. It's the same as we did in the last video on RF math, and that gets me to 100 milliwatts. What if I throw you this? 23 dBm. What is 23 dBm? The cool thing is that you don't have to do all this work over because you're making sort of a chart here. What's the difference between 20 and 23? It's a 3 decibel gain. So a 3 decibel gain tells me to times by 2. I'm now at 200 milliwatts. So I have properly converted between milliwatt and dBm. If you're given, you could be given something like 235 milliwatts. That's going to be tough to do. You can get close, but doing this kind of simple math without breaking it down in a full-on equation would be tough. In real life, you never do this. I've never had to do it in any Wi-Fi scenario. So this will get you a long ways. You may look at 30 dBm. 30 dBm from 0 to 30 is plus 10, plus 10, plus 10 on my decibel side. That means I'm timesing by 10 3 times. So we're already here. 1 times 10 is 10. 10 times 10 times 10 is 100. 100 times 10 is 1,000. So I am at 1,000 milliwatts, which is also 1 watt. So this is how to convert decibels, dBm, to milliwatt. I want to make an additional point. I'm a little nervous about it, but I want to make an additional point, an error I've seen people make that I want to stop you from making before you get there. Anytime you put the word dBm, anytime the M is there, that is an absolute value. 3 dBm equals 2 milliwatt. That is never going to change. If you notice, when I go to 0 to 10 or 0 to 20, I used dB numbers, not dBm. Remember, it is relative. 0 to 20 is a relative number. I'm comparing the two. So I'm using decibel, not dBm. If someone says, oh, I gained, if someone throws you out and says 33 dBm, what is the difference between 30 dBm and 33 dBm? The answer is not 3 dBm. Okay, let's do this. 33 dBm equals 2,000 milliwatts, 2 watts. Right? So someone could easily answer the question, if I said, what's the difference between 30 and 33 dBm? If you say 3 dBm, you're wrong. 3 dBm equals 2 watts. It's obviously not a 2 watt difference between the two. What is the difference between 30 dBm and 33 dBm? 3 dB. So this sounds like I'm trying to be nitpicky, but I'm not. This is just the way it has to be. You have to look at and make sure you reinforce relative, comparing two numbers, to absolute. 3 dBm is always 2 milliwatts, and it always will be. I know this has been a lot. These are probably the longer videos of what you're watching. It wouldn't hurt to redo them. If you can do this, if you can do some of the exercises, and you can knock these out, phenomenal. No reason to keep listening to me on this topic. But if not, keep going back at it, and you will get it.